What do you think a heart attack feels like? You're probably picturing someone clutching their chest, collapsing, in dramatic pain. That's the image movies have taught us for decades. But here's a fact that keeps emergency doctors up at night. A huge number of people go through a heart attack without feeling any chest pain at all. Not a bit. No dramatic collapse. Just a strange discomfort in the shoulder, or unusual tiredness one afternoon. And that's exactly why this is one of the most commonly misdiagnosed conditions in modern medicine. So here's the big question for today. If a heart attack doesn't have to hurt your chest, what does your body actually try and tell you? And why, for hundreds of years, did medicine build this Hollywood image of a heart attack that turns out to be so incomplete? The answer will change the way you think about your own body. To understand this, we first need to understand why people came to believe heart attack meant chest pain. The heart doesn't have as many precisely located pain receptors as, say, the skin on your hand or foot. Step on a nail, and your brain knows immediately, that's my foot. But pain signals from the heart travel along nerve pathways that are shared with several other parts of the body, like the shoulder, the arm, the jaw, the back, even the upper abdomen. Researchers call this phenomenon referred pain, where pain that originates in one organ gets misread by the brain as coming from somewhere else. So for a lot of people, a heart attack doesn't show up in the chest at all. It hides in the left shoulder, in the jaw, in the back, where it turns into nausea, shortness of breath, or unusual fatigue. According to medical literature, the image of severe chest pain equals heart attack was heavily reinforced by research from the early to mid-20th century, a period when most cardiac research subjects were middle-aged men. That might sound like a minor detail, but it created a major consequence. The standards for typical symptoms were built largely around how the male body tends to respond. Meanwhile, later research has shown that women, older adults, and people with diabetes are more likely to experience what's labeled atypical symptoms, things like unusual fatigue, mild shortness of breath, nausea, or pain radiating to the jaw or back, rather than obvious chest pain. In other words, the textbook heart attack that generations were taught was never actually representative of everyone. This is where things get worth sitting with. When someone experiences these non-typical symptoms, they themselves, and sometimes even the people around them, often don't recognize it as a possible cardiac warning sign. Fatigue gets blamed on poor sleep. Shoulder discomfort gets blamed on bad posture. Researchers have noted that delays in recognizing symptoms can affect how quickly someone seeks medical help, and time is generally considered an important factor in acute cardiac situations. This isn't an absolute rule, and not everyone with an unusual symptom is having a heart problem. But it's part of why health organizations in recent years have started broadening how they describe warning signs instead of focusing only on chest pain. And here's where the story flips entirely. You might be thinking, so the heart is just bad at sounding the alarm? It doesn't know how to protect itself. But the opposite perspective is far more interesting. Maybe the problem isn't the body. Maybe it's our expectations. The human body was never designed to communicate in the precise, GPS-like language of a medical textbook. It communicates through vague, overlapping, sometimes misleading signals because our nervous system evolved to survive in the wild, not to self-diagnose modern cardiovascular disease. In other words, your body isn't lying to you. We just gotten used to expecting a much simpler kind of language, when the body has always been more complicated than that. The real twist here isn't heart attacks don't hurt your chest. It's that the entire concept of a typical symptom we've all trusted was never actually complete to begin with. So what does this mean for you right now? Probably not a checklist of symptoms to memorize. More like a different way of paying attention to your own body. Have you ever wondered how many times your body was trying to tell you something, but because it didn't match the picture in your head, you brushed it off? Not just about the heart, about all sorts of other signals we tend to explain away as probably just tired, probably just stress, probably nothing. The story of a heart attack that doesn't hurt your chest is, in a way, a reminder that the truth is usually more complicated than what we were taught, and that listening to your body a little more carefully is, in itself, a kind of knowledge worth having. So what about you? How many other things about your own body Do you think we're still understanding in an oversimplified way? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.